let's do this. Hello everyone, my name is Divya. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I've been making videos for 4 years now, but I've never really formally introduced myself and explained a bit about who I am, what my interests are, what my motivation is to have a YouTube channel, so I thought, why not now? Some of you who are here may know me from my way back when orthodontic journey vlogs. I was having some orthodontic work done and it was kind of an experimental new thing, so I decided to document that journey and share that information so that hopefully more people could take advantage of it. So a lot of you definitely responded to that, and that was really exciting to engage with, all of you people, form a community around that. Later on, I started sharing my travel vlogs from places that I visit. I've always loved traveling and I've had the opportunity to do a lot of it in the recent years, so I've been documenting that as well. And some of you may have joined me more recently as I've been posting yoga classes on my channel. I wanted to take this time to introduce myself, share a little bit about my background, and also things that are important to me and kind of what you can expect moving forward on this channel. If you're excited about this, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your alerts so that you know when I post a video. I'm trying really hard to be more regular now that I have more content planned out, so let's get started. I live in California. I've been out in this area for 10 years now and I absolutely love it. Northern California is a dreamland. I don't know where else anyone would ever want to live, although I have always wanted to live in London. I still have that dream. It might happen in the future. We are in the middle of a global pandemic, so probably not going to happen anytime soon, but I still have hope for the future. I'm originally from Virginia. Grew up there, lived in India for a year, went to school there with my family, and then I moved to California with my family. I lived in SoCal originally and then moved up to NorCal, and I've been out here for the largest chunk of my life, and I love it. I'm super grateful to my parents for giving me and my sister the opportunity to travel so much since we were young and experience so many different cultures, even within the States and around the world. I think traveling at a young age is so key to your development, your personal development. Exposing yourself to different ways of life, different cultures, different types of people, different personalities, different life situations is so critical to opening your perspective and being a more compassionate and emotionally intelligent human being. And if you can't travel, honestly, there are so many other ways to get that same experience and that same exposure. Reading books is so important. I personally love autobiographies. I love stepping into the shoes of another person, hearing about their experiences growing up, the way that they think. I love being influenced by stuff like that. Obviously, you take everything with a grain of salt. You don't let everything you consume, whether it's TV, real life, books, whatever it might be, you don't let everything influence you, but you can let it affect you in some way. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I studied art practice and theater. Not exactly the typical pathway for an Indian American. I am lucky enough that I've always been supported by my family in this path. My mom especially really pushed me to actually study art in school. I was thinking like maybe chemistry or business, and very quickly found out that I was not gonna be successful on that path, at least the traditional path. The skills that I gained in both of these majors have continued through into my professional life. I have been working in tech for the last 5-6 years or so. Not sure if I'm gonna stay in that industry forever. We'll see. Again, getting ahead of myself. Personality-wise, I am a Taurus. As you see here on my necklace, I actually got this when I was studying abroad in the UK in college, and I bought this from a Primark for like £2, and it is lost all of its original sheen and color, but I love it nonetheless, and I refuse to throw it away. So I would categorize myself as very ambitious, very passionate, and really curious. There's this word, I think it's sonder. Sonder means the feeling that you have when you realize that everyone around you lives a life that is as complicated and complex as your own, and you're just like, wow, these people aren't just like background characters in the movie about me. There are people who have their own lives. I kind of have that sort of curiosity with me everywhere I go. But I've always found that you know, as my curiosity has grown, as I've aged, I really like to learn about how other people live. You know, what are their value systems? That's why I think on YouTube, the content that I love the most, I've been watching YouTube videos for like over a decade now. And I really enjoy vlogs, whether it's travel vlogs or just like everyday, like what I'm getting up to today, or like my morning routine kind of vlogs, where it's just about their like day-to-day life. I find those things really enjoyable because they are such a personal view into someone's individual value systems, their thought process, the logic behind their actions. Like little micro, like nuanced behaviors can say so much about a person and where they come from and what they believe in. And I think that it's those little things that seem so mundane that can lead to community building and bigger things like social change across a city, a country, you know, the worldwide. Honestly, I think these little habits and behaviors can change things on a global scale. So I'm very curious about learning about people and what they do. And that can range anything from, you know, causes they care about, values that they live by, to what kinds of relationships they like to have, who are their friends, you know, what kinds of books do they seek out, what do they do as soon as they wake up in the morning, you know, do they trust people easily, can they go a whole day without speaking to someone, or do they have to talk to people throughout the day, do they cut friendships off quickly, or you know, are they curious about trying different cuisines, are they curious to travel, why or why not, you know, what kind of family do they come from? These are all the kinds of questions that I think about naturally when I meet someone new. And you know, honestly, if I meet you, I'll probably ask you all these questions at some point and more. I'm sorry in advance if this is getting a little rambly. I've never done like a sit down talking video on YouTube, so it's kind of a stream of consciousness. You know, I hope you'll stay with me. Let's come down to what I'm hoping to accomplish with my channel. So as I mentioned so far, I've done stuff that has ranged in its offering. I've done stuff that's meant to be educational and, you know, help people learn about things like the orthodontics videos. I have done stuff that's honestly, it's more documentation for me, the travel vlogs. Growing up, my family, my immediate and my extended family documented everything. Home videos were such a thing for me growing up. Everything was documented meticulously. All these like candid, sweet moments, you know, especially when we'd visit our family in India. Like, I'm so grateful to have those memories to look back on now, and I want to continue that as well. So traveling is a great way for me to document these things and be able to share it later on. I wonder if these are kind of distracting. Maybe I'll take them off for a bit. Right, so what I want to do here on this channel, it's a variety of things. I really don't want to limit myself or box myself in. My interests are very wide-ranging. I have been an artist my whole life. I paint and I draw. I'm obsessed with food, eating it, cooking it, reading about it, understanding it, trying new things, mostly learning about it. Right now I'm in a place where I'm like doing a lot of research and understanding about food and culture and society. I'm also very much into other sides of artistic and creative endeavors like fashion. I'm also a yoga teacher. I've been practicing yoga for 16 years. So for a very long time. It's my mom who initially taught me. She learned at a small college somewhere when we were visiting India one time. She just took a couple of basic lessons and taught it to me, and it just stuck in my mind and I never let go of it. And I've struggled with body image issues since I was a child. I grew up a little bit on the chubbier side and got reminded of that every single day and made to think that was really bad. And I grew up hating myself, hating my body, and it backfired. Rather than thinking it would inspire me, it made me like go off the deep end and have a very bad relationship with food. I'm still rebuilding my relationship with food now through my love for cooking. So that is something you'll definitely see a lot more about: body positive movement, healthy, mindful eating, and soulful eating. You know, you want to eat to fulfill your soul. Coming back to yoga, I have been practicing for a long time, but I did suffer from imposter syndrome because I've been wanting to become a teacher for, I would say, the last like 7 years. Basically, since I went to college, I've been thinking I want to become a teacher, but I never saw anyone who looked like me teaching yoga, which is very ironic considering it comes from my country. It comes from India. I only ever saw white women teaching me yoga, and it made me feel like I had no place in that world and no authority. So I avoided it for a long time until I found it somewhere deep in my soul. Kind of bouncing back to the art because I promise it connects. In college, my thesis for my art degree pretty much was creating a series of work that was centered around cultural misappropriation. So typically we'd focus on Western societies that would co-opt and manipulate and then repurpose, remarket sacred symbols, ethnic tokens from other countries, especially countries where there are people of color. And that is something that never sat well with me. It's something that, you know, affected me since I was a child. I would grow up putting oil in my hair, making turmeric masks, you know, eating Indian food at school, and got made fun of it like you wouldn't believe. Many of us experienced this as well growing up, and now it's cool. Now there are golden lattes, now there are turmeric masks, and everyone wants to have the superfoods from India, and yoga is cool and all this stuff. And I'm trying not to be bitter about it, but there was a period of my life that I was very angry with people, even my own people, who would make fun of me for embracing my culture, and they would all westernize. And eventually I was able to come to a place where I am who I am, and if you don't like it, that's too bad. So cultural misappropriation is something that I care about a lot, and my stance on that when it comes to yoga is that, you know, anyone can benefit from yoga, anyone should practice yoga, everyone should practice yoga if they like, but I should not feel less authority just because I don't fit in with the mainstream. And so I assumed authority in this field, and I decided to go to a teacher training run by a wonderful woman of color. I trained with the most diverse group of people I have ever seen in a yoga studio. I've never been to some of those mainstream studios where there's no diversity and they play pop music stars. I've never been to any of those places. There's not enough real life representation in those places, even though there should be, because all kinds of people practice yoga. I'm rambling. So last year I took the plunge and I got my yoga teacher certification, so I'm now officially a yoga teacher. Well, I have been for a while. I was teaching before the pandemic hit. Unfortunately now in-person classes are suspended, so I haven't been able to teach, but I have been teaching online via my YouTube channel. So you should definitely check that out. So when it comes to yoga on my channel, you'll definitely see classes. I also want to weave in a bit about yoga mythology and the spiritual practice of yoga as well. It goes beyond physical practice. There's meditation, there's awareness, concentration, there's all these different limbs that you can get into. I definitely plan to travel in the future when the world opens up again, so I'll continue to post my vlogs. I am catching up on travels from the past year or so, so I'm still going to be posting some stuff that's a little bit delayed. I also really am passionate about, like I said, personal development, which means things like motivational learning, skill development, and just thinking about stuff like social change. Those are causes that I'm very passionate about and that I've always been active in, and I'm looking for new ways to be active and contribute to my community and really uplift the voices of people who have been marginalized. I think that about wraps up what you can expect moving forward. I'm really excited to start on this journey. My main goal in having this channel, I should have started with this, is to have more representation. YouTube has historically, in my experience, been very dominated by light-skinned or white people, but I do want to focus a little bit more on representing diversity on YouTube. And it doesn't mean I'm going to reinvent the wheel. Like, things that I talk about, things that I share with you might be things that you'll see on other people's channels as well. It might be like popular tags or videos of me traveling. Like, it's gonna be stuff you've seen before. There's nothing new out there. What I want to add is my unique perspective. I'm a person who has a lot of different lived experiences, good and bad, and I'm still learning and growing. And I would love to share that here, because 15 years ago when I started watching YouTube, or however long ago, if I saw someone who looked like me talking about these topics, I can't even imagine the courage I would have been able to have at a younger age to do more things, to break down more barriers. And honestly, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to just increase the diversity and have representation, and also more causes that I care about. Shadeism/colorism, rampant across the world, especially in countries where there are people of color. It's something I care about, and I want to break down those walls. There are so many people doing great work about this right now. Lots of people that I have found on Instagram and YouTube that are speaking on it, and I'm so grateful that they're leading the way, and I'm excited to join that community. So hopefully, if you see this video and if you're one of those people, reach out, because I would love to collaborate. Okay, I think I've talked about enough, and hopefully you're still with me. If you've skimmed through this video, that's fine. If you are here with me, that's fine too. Honestly, I love vlogs because I feel like I just make friends with the people who are sharing. It takes a lot of courage to have a video like where you're talking to an audience that you can't see, you can't really engage with them in person. and you don't know what people are gonna say about you. I really hope that you're excited as well and that you'll show me some support. The way that you get more representation out there is by sharing things. So if you are someone who likes what you've seen so far in this video and you want to support what I'm about, tag your friends who you think would resonate with it. Help me get the word out and let's start this community. I'm really excited. If you like this video, if you want to chat about something, whatever it might be, please leave me a comment down below, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and like I said, turn on the little alerts so that you know when I post new videos. But thank you for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Thanks in advance for sharing and supporting. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.